Hey guys, today for science, we are going to go over our review, our Unit 6 review. So I want you guys to take out your review, take something out to grade with, either a red or orange, it doesn't really matter if it's a marker or crayon, whatever you have handy, as long as it's not a pencil. Okay, I want you to follow along with me as I go over the answers with you. Okay, so please make sure you have your review out. We're going to start on page 297. Okay, so the pages are 297 to 300. Okay, the first part was vocabulary. So number 1 says, when two or more pieces of Earth's crust push together, they form a mountain. So number 1 is mountain. I'm going to show you, I wrote the answers on here so you can see them. Number 2 says, when a river flows over time, it can leave a deep groove with tall sides called a canyon. Number 2 is canyon. Number 3, lava can ooze or erupt quickly from a volcano. Number 3 is volcano. Number 4, a landslide on the side of a mountain is rapid erosion. Number 4 is erosion. Number 5 says a rock breaks apart after freezing and thawing many times. This is an example of weathering. Number 5 is weathering. Okay. The next part are your science concepts. Okay, so number 6 says, Molly describes a landform as flat land that spreads out over a long distance. Identify the landform and compare it to a mountain. So the landform would be a plain, okay? And then you're going to compare it to a mountain. So a mountain is tall and has a peak. Plains are flat and are not tall. Okay, so number 6, the answer is C. Turn the page. So you should be on page 298. Okay, we're going to continue at the top with number 7. Number 7 says, which of these is a sudden change in Earth's surface that can be harmful to living things? Well, all of these are changes to Earth's surface, okay? And they can be, all of them can pretty much be harmful to living things, but a sudden change would be a forest fire. So the answer is B. Number 7 is B. Because erosion takes a long time to happen, so it's not really a sudden change. A glacier as well. Glaciers take a long time to form, okay? And then weathering is also, it takes a long time to occur. So a sudden change would be a forest fire, because a forest fire can happen at any time, and it goes really, really fast. And so it can be very harmful to a lot of living things, okay? Number 8. The drawing below shows the movement in two pieces of Earth's crust. What does this drawing show? So I want you to look carefully at the drawing. You can tell that the land is shifting, okay? And then in the middle of it, you see circles. Those are just the crust and the core, okay, all the different layers of the earth that it's showing you. So the drawing shows an earthquake, which would be A. Number 8 is A. Number 9. Over many years, a mountain is weathered and eroded. What landform will the mountain gradually change into? Okay, so if I think about a mountain, okay, a mountain is very tall. Okay, it has a peak at the top. Okay, so over time, if it gets eroded and weathered, that means it starts breaking down. Okay, so if I look at these, I know it's not going to be a volcano. okay, or a valley, or a canyon. So it'll gradually change into a hill because a hill is kind of like a mountain, but it's a lot smaller, okay? So number 9 is B, a hill. Number 10, which describes how soil can be formed, okay? So if I look at these carefully, okay, I know that glaciers are not going to form soil, okay? So if I look at D, it says rain falls quickly during a storm. This causes the mud on a hill to move in large areas of dirt. That's more like a mudslide, okay? And then if I look at A, rivers flow through a canyon. As they move, they deposit soil on the canyon floor. Well, that's not going to form soil, okay? So because we're thinking about how can soil be formed. So the correct answer would be B. Wind and water weather rocks, breaking them into smaller and smaller pieces. Tiny pieces of rock mixed with organic material form soil. So that is how soil is created, okay? So number 10 is B, okay? Flip it over or turn the page like I have to. Okay, you should be on page 299. You should see number 11 at the top. Okay, I want you to look at the picture of the landform carefully. It says, which choice describes how the landform in the picture was formed? Okay, so if I look at it, I can tell that it is a volcano because I can see that it's erupting. Okay, it has lava coming out of the top. So if I think about how a volcano is formed, okay, and I look at my choices, the only one that makes sense is A. One piece of crust slid beneath another. Lava began to push up through the cracks, okay? Because the other ones, if I look at my other choices, okay, the other choices doesn't talk about lava. And so I know by looking at the picture that it is a volcano and I see that lava is erupting from it. Okay, so the only one that makes sense is A. So number 11 is A. Number 12. On which layer of earth do you find oceans, mountains, and valleys? Well, I know that oceans, valleys, and mountains, or sorry, canyons, oceans, mountains, and valleys, yes, that was correct. These form on the top of the earth, okay? They don't form underneath it. So I know that the top layer of earth would be the crust, okay? So the answer is A. Number 12 is A. Number 13. Keisha puts some brick pieces, sand, and water in a jar. She shakes it with each day for 2 weeks and notices what happens to the brick pieces in water. She is modeling how soil forms from weathering in the natural world, which is a limitation of her model. Okay, so I need to look at this carefully. I know that rocks are not weathered by being shaken in a jar, okay, in the natural world, okay? So you need to read the statement in each of the first 3 answers very carefully, okay? And so I can look and I can tell that size, only large rocks weather. No, that's not true. Okay, not just large rocks, different size rocks can weather. Okay, so I know it's not A. Properties, water and sand do not cause weathering. Well, I know that water and sand do cause weathering because when it rains a lot, okay, that is part of weathering. Okay, so I know it's not B. Materials. Bricks do not weather in the natural world. Well, over time, bricks can weather because bricks are made up of soil, okay, and soil is made up of pieces of rocks, okay. Brick is also not just soil, but other things, okay. So I know that bricks can weather because I can look at my house, okay, and I can see pictures of when we first bought our house and pictures of it now. And I can tell that there's a difference in the bricks, okay? And I know that's from weathering, okay? So I know it's not A, B, or C. So the answer has to be D, process. Rocks are not shaken in a jar in the natural world. So 13 is D, okay? All right, look at number 14. Trans class is visiting a delta to make observations. The students observe rich soil. What is most likely the reason for this? Okay, so I know that a delta is formed when weathered rock and soil are carried down a flowing river. Okay, and then they get deposited in the basin at the bottom. So I want you to think about in lesson 2, okay, there's a photograph that shows an aerial view of a river delta. Okay, so it shows it from the top. Okay, and I know that the soil in the delta, okay, it was originated, okay, at the bottom. Okay, so if I look at my choices, I know that C, weathered rock was washed into the delta by a flowing river. That one makes the most sense. Okay, so number 14 is C. Turn the page or flip it over to the back. Now, this is where you have to apply inquiry and review the big ideas. Okay. Number 15, I want you to write the answers to these questions. So your answer might not be exactly the same as mine, and that's okay. The wording might be different, and that's fine, as long as you have something that is around that answer, okay? So it says, Tomas took a picture of the landform below. He shared it with this class. So if I look at this landform, I can tell that it shows a plateau, because the top of it is flat, okay, and it's very large. And then a plateau is also higher than the surrounding areas. So I'm going to show you what I wrote for 15. Okay, it says the picture shows a plateau. Plains and plateaus both have large flat areas, but a plateau is higher than the surrounding areas. So you should have something written similar to this. It is a plateau. And then if you can compare the two, plateaus and plains, okay, that is for number 15. Number 16. Drew went on a camp out. He took this picture of the landform in which he camped. Identify the landform that is pictured. How is it like a canyon and how is it different? So if I look at this picture, I know that the landform is a valley. Okay, because a valley goes down. Okay, it's very flat at the bottom. Usually you find a valley between two mountains. Okay, and so if I look at this, I can see that the land is very high around it, but then it's very low at the bottom. So it shows a valley. Okay, and a valley and a canyon are both lower than the surrounding land, but a canyon has steep sides. So if I look at what I wrote, okay, I wrote for 16, the picture shows a valley. A valley and a canyon are both lower than the surrounding land, but a canyon has steep sides, okay? So if you wrote something similar to that, that's fine. If not, please write the correct answer. Okay, number 17, we're going to have to do a little bit of math on this one. The Stone River is 5.2 kilometers long. In the lobby of the Stone River School, there is a scale model of the river. The model is 1.3 meters long. How many times longer is the river than the model? Okay, so I'm going to give you the answer to this, and then we're going to do the math together so you can figure out how we got the answer, okay? So the river is 4,000 times longer than the model, okay? So you're going to have to do a little bit of conversions here. Okay, you're going to have to convert kilometers into meters, okay? And then we're going to have to divide. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we get the answer for this one. Okay, so if I look at my problem, okay, I have 5.2 kilometers, okay? Which this equals 5,200 meters, okay? So kilometers, 5.2, converts into 5,200 meters, okay? That's the first part of it. And then I need to take my 5,200 meters and divide that by the 1.3 meters, okay? So then you would get the answer 4,000. Okay, so you have to do a little bit of conversion here and a little bit of division to find your answer. So the river is 4,000 times longer. Okay. So there is all of the answers to your Unit 6 review. Okay, I want you guys to study the review. Our test is going to be on Friday. Okay, we also are going to do our vocabulary flip chart as well. But I wanted you guys to have all of the answers to review so that you can study it. So if you have any questions or concerns about this, please feel free to email me. Thanks. Bye.